Our worship service will begin shortly. Please take a moment to look around the sanctuary to locate the nearest exit sign. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please proceed calmly toward this exit and head towards the parking lot. If an evacuation becomes necessary, please also keep an eye out for others who may have mobility challenges or be unfamiliar with our church. Our community takes care of one another. Good morning.
You gotta ring the bell first, Kate.
Sorry, forgot the bell.
Don't
There's
cut Carol's
there's
job.
no note in here about the
Sorry.
bell.
I should put a note in about bells.
My bad.
No, 3 times.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Kay Brandt, and I use she, they pronouns. I'm glad to be your worship associate this morning, I think. Please. Please take a moment to put your mind, spirit, and cell phones in worship mode. We welcome everyone here and online to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. Please take a moment to turn or stand if you wish to greet those joining us online. For anyone online who wishes to share your joys and concerns during the online portion of the service, please put them in the chat in the next 15 minutes. Land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that our church resides on the traditional lands of the Tutelo and Monacan nations and was later farmed and developed through slave labor. We recognize and respect the ongoing connection to this land by generations of Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. May our gratitude and fellowship here echo and honor that rich history. Recitation of the welcoming words. Please join me in reciting our words of welcome. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness or overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all are welcome here. And our covenant. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world.
Please stand and join in singing hymn 121, We'll Build a Land. Go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves the morning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings, all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll be a land building up ancient cities, of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come, build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits, one faint, one and weak, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, we build a land, my people we seek. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Thank you.
Woo. Good morning. Good morning, Walter. I am the Reverend Jen Raffensperger. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am honored to serve as the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. And I'm glad to see so many of you here on this holiday weekend and one of the hottest parts of summer, though today shouldn't be as bad. Yesterday, this nation observed the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The Independence Day holiday is a complicated one, this year more than many. We hold the tension of the harsh truths at the base of the foundation of our democracy, along with the hope that this declaration, imperfect and incomplete as it was, opened for us the possibility of a new way for humans to choose to govern themselves by stripping power from tyranny and tyrants and giving it to the people. We know that at the birth of our nation, the definition of people was reprehensibly incomplete. We know that at the birth of our nation, evil had already been done in the name of the king whom the colonists were rejecting. But this does not excuse us from the work of attending to the ideals laid out within our founding documents, particularly at this time when whatever imperfect vestiges of democracy may still help us to forge a more just path in the future are in danger. Anyway, that's not a great sentence. Anyway, we have to pay attention to the good stuff and get rid of the stuff that's racist and sexist and ridiculous, right? That's what we're getting to. Today, we will revisit the text, the entire text of the Declaration of Independence. Thank you to my readers. And then we're going to reflect on the work we're called to do today and for every day going forward together. Okay, I will invite you to light our chalice, and we join with Unitarian Universalist churches, congregations, communities around the nation and the world in lighting the flame of our living tradition of faith, knowing that while the light burns in the sanctuary, we also carry it within our hearts.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of life.
Good morning. The summer of 1776 in Virginia was a very eventful time. The newly formed Commonwealth of Virginia had adopted its first constitution, and Patrick Henry became our first governor. On July 8th of that summer, Virginia troops forced Virginia's last royal governor, Lord Dunmore, to flee from Gwynn's Island on the Chesapeake Bay, where he had been holed up with British troops. The Declaration of Independence arrived in Williamsburg from Philadelphia on July 18th, and it was published in the Virginia Gazette the very next day. On July 15th, it was read from the steps of the Capitol in Williamsburg, the Governor's Palace, and the courthouse. Later that day, a grand parade wound down Duke of Gloucester Street. Cannons were fired. In the evening, they had a grand illumination, as they still do. I'm very proud of the fact that my fourth great-grandfather, William Hackworth, who was a farmer in Bedford County, at this time was serving as a soldier in the Virginia 1st Regiment, which was stationed in Williamsburg. So he was able to experience these events in the summer of 1776. Shortly after the reading of the Declaration of Independence, William and most of his regiment re-enlisted for 3-year terms in what then had become the Continental Army and the Virginia 1st Regiment. And not long after the regiment, about 2 weeks after the regiment re-enlisted, they were given orders to march off to join Washington and the remainder, or the rest of the Continental Army, which was facing the British in Manhattan. William spent the next 3 years in Washington's various campaigns, including battles like Trenton, Germantown, and Monmouth, and somehow survived through the harsh winter encampments, including Valley Forge. So what may have motivated such an effort among Virginians like William back at this time? Undoubtedly, I think Mr. Jefferson's Declaration of Independence played a large part. Now, 5 of us are now going to read the Declaration to you just as it was read in Williamsburg 250 years ago. This was done in Congress, July 4th, 1776, by the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. The famous words, "When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is a right of the people to alter or abolish them, and to institute a new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall deem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light or transient causes, and accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former system of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at unusual places, uncomfortable and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions of the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time, after such dissolutions, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within.
He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriation of lands. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He has effected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation. For quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses.
For abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule in these colonies. For taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our governments, for suspending our own legislatures, and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrectionists among us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers, the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Yeah.
Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity. We have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace friends. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that, as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do, and for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Our reading today is a poem by Richard Blanco called Declaration of Interdependence. Such has been the patient sufferance. We're a mother's bread, instant potatoes, milk at a checkout line. We're her 3 children pleading for bubble gum and their father. We're the 3 minutes she steals to page through a tabloid needing to believe even stars' lives are as joyful and bruised. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. We're her second job, serving an executive absorbed in his Wall Street Journal at a sidewalk cafe shadowed by skyscrapers. We're the shadows of the fortune he won and the family he lost. We're his loss and the lost. We're a father in a coal mine who can't mine a life anymore because too much and too little has happened for too long. A history of repeated injuries and usurpations. We're the grit of his Main Street's blacked out windows and graffitied truths. We're a street in another town lined with royal palms, at home with a Peace Corps couple who collect African art. We're their dinner party talk of wines, wielded picket signs, and burned draft cards. We're what they know. It's time to do more than read the New York Times, buy fair trade coffee and organic corn. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress. We're the farmer who grew the corn, who plows into his couch as worn as his back by the end of the day. We're his TV set blaring news, having everything and nothing to do with the field dust in his eyes, or his son nestled in the ache of his arms. We're his son. We're a black teenager who drove too fast or too slow, talked too quickly or too little, moved too quickly but not quick enough. We're the blast of the bullet leaving the gun. We're the guilt and the grief of the cop who wished he hadn't shot. We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We're the dead. We're the living amid the flicker of vigil candlelight. We're in a dim cell with an inmate reading Dostoevsky. We're his crime, his sentence, his amends. We're the mending of ourselves and others. We're a Buddhist serving soup at a shelter alongside a stockbroker. We're each other's shelter and hope. A widow's 50 cents in a collection plate and a golfer's $10,000 pledge for a cure. We hold these truths to be self-evident. We're the cure for hatred caused by despair. We're the good morning of a bus driver who remembers our name, the tattooed man who gives up his seat on the subway. We're every door held open with a smile when we look into each other's eyes the way we behold the moon. We're the moon. We're the promise of one people, one breath declaring to one another, I see you, I need you, I am you.
Thank you, Kay, for that reading. Thank you, Bill and Cindy and Henry and Judy and Nancy for your reading of our foundational document, one of our foundational documents. When I was a kid, Independence Day was not made much of in my family. We did not attend fireworks displays. My mother hated them. We did not travel into nearby Washington, D.C. to join the national celebrations held there each year. My father was a career civil servant, and he said he spent plenty of time in D.C. already. Thank you very much. Perhaps we had a cookout, but it wasn't necessarily in direct celebration of the anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, so much as it was because my father liked to cook on the grill. And all of us got what I would describe as an outsized sense of pleasure and satisfaction from potato salad. As I grew older, I grew to enjoy fireworks at least a little, though my pacifist's heart still thought these simulations of artillery fire were a bit upsetting. For a few memorable years when I was employed by the government of the city where I worked as a park ranger, I had to work the desk at City Hall, answering literally thousands of phone calls about the timing, duration, and status of the city's fireworks display. For so many of these years, I didn't give a single thought to what this date truly meant. I was alive at the bicentennial in 1976, but I have no reliable memories of that time. I was 4 years old, and anything that might be a memory might also more reliably be called a memory of looking at photographs of the tall ships and family albums. It was only as I grew and learned about people with very different experiences both of this holiday and this country than myself that I began to appreciate Independence Day for the flawed but important holiday that it is. What a tremendous privilege to live in a nation where my own personal rights and well-being were tended to so well that all this vital national moment for many years reminded me of were certain specific celebratory foods. While I was preparing for today's sermon, I admit that I realized it had been many years since I read the Declaration of Independence in its entirety. It is tempting at this moment to go through and cherry pick all the moments where I had a visceral reaction, seeing our current moment reflected through the lens of those experiencing life here in 1776, or more correctly, the lens of those experiencing life in these colonized lands at that time who were white land-owning men. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. Never before had I reflected that the founders who wrote this document laid out the case for a frog in a pot of water that is slowly approaching the boiling point will stay still and not jump out. It takes a lot to make us humans change our circumstances, even when we know viscerally that those circumstances are killing us, are killing our neighbors. Our white neighbors, our black neighbors, our immigrant neighbors, our previously incarcerated neighbors, our unhoused neighbors, our impoverished neighbors, our queer neighbors, our transgender neighbors, our native neighbors, our college-educated neighbors, our not college-educated neighbors, our women neighbors, our young neighbors, our old neighbors. I thought of sharing some words from the Unitarian Universalist Association today, one of our association's official responses to the latest round of Supreme Court decisions, but there are too many of them. Nome versus Al Otro Lado, West Virginia versus BPJ, Little versus Hecox, National Republican Senatorial Committee versus Federal Election Commission, even Trump versus Barbara, which upheld the doctrine of birthright citizenship, yes, but came closer to overturning that doctrine than many expected. Instead, I will share some words from Frederick Douglass's historic speech delivered on July 5th, 1852 in Rochester, New York, that is now commonly known as "What to the Slave is Your 4th of July." The fact that the church of our country, with fractional exceptions, does not esteem the fugitive slave law as a declaration of war against religious liberty implies that the church regards religion simply as a form of worship, an empty ceremony, and not a vital principle requiring active benevolence, justice, love, and goodwill towards man. It esteems sacrifice above mercy, psalm singing above right doing, solemn meetings above practical righteousness. A worship that can be conducted by persons who refuse to give shelter to the houseless, to give bread to the hungry, clothing to the naked, and who enjoin obedience to a law forbidding these acts of mercy is a curse, not a blessing, to mankind. Now, the truth is, at the time, many Unitarian ministers did actively oppose the Fugitive Slave Act. Some by taking up arms, as in the case of Theodore Parker in Boston, who would preach with a rifle in the pulpit. But as modern Unitarian Universalists have moved theologically into different and more broad directions than the Christianity within our historical founding, we can know that we have continued to work for principles and values that center active in love in the world, not empty ceremony. All the fireworks, displays, cookouts, and yes, even potato salad in the world mean nothing if we are not attending to the importance of the principles inherent in the founding of this democracy and also attending to the deep injustices and errors also inherent in the founding of this democracy. We talked a little bit, the Declaration readers and I, before this, about the use of the word savages. Savage acts were done on all sides. Savages to describe a people is racist and wrong. All the pretty words in the world mean nothing if we are not willing to look at our neighbor and say we truly are equal under the law. I will not survive without your survival. I will not thrive without your thriving. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress. We're the farmer who grew the corn, who plows into his couch as worn as his back by the end of the day. We're his TV set blaring news having everything and nothing to do with the field dust in his eyes or his son nested in the ache of his arms. We're his son. We're a black teenager who drove too fast or too slow, talked too much or too little, moved too quickly but not quick enough. We're the blast of the bullet leaving the gun. We're the guilt and the grief of the cop who wished he hadn't shot. We are everything our neighbors are. When we recognize the privilege that we have, we can begin to understand the often ugly truth of what made a way for us and how vitally important it is that that same way be made for all, to work to repair the original harms by hewing more closely to the original ideals, stripped of their racist language and thought. Right before we were reminded that humans will sit there suffering rather than change their circumstances, we hear, whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all. Not just the ones that look like us or sound like us or worship like us. It is a truly, deeply radical notion, and that is why petty tyrants fear and despise true democracy and try to destroy it. In this time of tyranny and the open rise of oppression has always existed, to be clear. This time when rights are stripped away from more and more people and wealth accumulates in the hands of fewer and fewer, when we erect algorithms between us and our neighbors, it is more vital than ever to revisit, correct, and dream anew radical principles for a new and vital form of government by, of, and for the people. It is time for us to witness the beauty and gifts of one another, to understand that power, not in service to its people, to all its people, must pass from this earth. And we are the ones to usher it out. We must also be the ones to guard the delicate birth of a new system, new structures, that they may be just and inclusive and not designed to extract from the labor of the many to enrich the few. We must bear witness. We must be willing to change. We must be willing to give up our comfort in service to the larger good for humankind now and for generations to come. We hold these truths to be self-evident. We're the cure for hatred caused by despair. We're the good morning of a bus driver who remembers our name, the tattooed man who gives up his seat on the subway. We're every door held open with a smile when we look into each other's eyes the way we behold the moon. We're the moon. We are the promise of one people, one breath, declaring to one another, I see you. I need you. I am you. May we behold one another fully, beautifully, imperfectly, as we consider all that our new next world requires of us. Let us love mercy. Let us move humbly. Let us dream of a world by, of, and for all of us. So may it be.
I'm going to share a very brief excerpt from Ralph Vaughan Williams' wartime cantata, Dona Nobis Pacem, which means give us peace. And here are the words of Walt Whitman. Word over all, beautiful as the sky, beautiful that war and all its deeds of carnage must in time be utterly lost, that the hands of the sisters death and night incessantly, softly, wash again and ever again this soiled world. Word over all, beautiful as the sky, beautiful that war and all its deeds of carnage must in time be utterly lost, that the hands of the sisters, death and night, incessantly, softly, wash again and ever again this soiled world.
Thank you. We have come to that time each week in our service where we invite you into generosity. The work of this congregation is not possible without the time, the talent, and the treasure of many. The ushers will now gratefully accept the offering.
If you are so inclined, please join me on the first hymn in our book, May Nothing Evil Cross This Door. May nothing evil cross this door, and may ill fortune never pry about these windows. May the roar and rain go by. By faith made strong, the rafters will withstand the battering of the storm. This earth through all the world grow chill will keep us us warm. Peace shall walk softly through these rooms, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner blooms into a shrine. With laughter drown the raucous shout, and though these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong to keep hate out and hold love in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sally Garber, and it's my honor to represent the Caring Committee this morning. As you know, you have the opportunity every morning to add your lifeline to the Lifelines book, or you can send a lifeline to me or to the office. So please do that so we all can know what is on your mind. I have some very exciting news first. Wesley took his first steps on Friday. He got scared and cried immediately after. But yay, Wesley. Emily Griffith passed away this past week. She had visited UUCR recently. She had 2 daughters, Carissa in high school and Brooklyn in middle school. Emily was an orthopedic surgeon who worked at the VA in Salem. Robert Wallenborn asked me to share with you that on the second Wednesday of each month, there will be a white truck at Christ Lutheran where you can recycle plastic, electronics, and styrofoam. Our very good friend, Adele Blankenbaker, celebrated her 76th birthday on June 30th. She was surrounded by friends and her partner. They enjoyed her favorite tiramisu cake. Congratulations, Adele. Now, if you have a private joy or concern that you would like to light a candle for, please come forward during the music meditation and use both sides of the altar. Thank you. May our prayers be heard and our hearts be restored.
It's a broken record to say that I can't pick a thing, right? So this week, I'm lighting this candle for everyone residing within these still United States who is struggling with and celebrating this holiday in unique, strange, special ways, however it is landing for you right now. This candle I light in praise and glory for volunteers. We're going to do a big official honoring of the outgoing board and the incoming board people. It's the beginning of the fiscal year, so it's also the beginning of new board terms. We have, I want to especially thank our personnel committee this week. You all are going to hear a little bit about this in a second. But we have had 50% turnover of our admittedly small but mighty staff this year. And Teresa Poole and Susie Newton have been amazing. So thank you. And to every volunteer, yes. And to every volunteer who I can't name personally every week, good golly, there's so much that happens here that just could never without you. And we are so, so grateful. And this last candle that I light each week is in honor of all those joining us online. Though you are not physically present in our sanctuary, we know you are with us in spirit. Now, if you will join me in a moment for prayer and reflection, you may settle yourself into your seat a little more comfortably, maybe put your feet flat on the floor, close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or soften your gaze. Spirit of life, remind us of the gifts that exist within this audacious experiment of a country. Do not blind us to the good things, but open our hearts to the bad. We need to know our whole history, just as we need to know our own selves, lumps and all, and love our whole selves and love our whole country, to fight for it, to be better, to do better, to live up to the radical ideals at its heart. See your neighbors. Know they are you. They are seeing you. Let us live into a world where we truly honor that and build systems that truly enact justice for all. So may it be.
And now, as we draw close to the end of our time together in worship this week, we turn our attention from the joys and concerns within our own hearts and to the work of the week ahead. We'll begin with a few announcements, and I need a few announcements. Beginning tomorrow, July 6th, the sanctuary will be closed until Friday, July 10th for the asbestos abatement work. If you will be in the building for other meetings, know that this work will not impact your use of the building, only that you will be unable to enter the sanctuary. A reminder that Living the Questions is having some special summer sessions every Sunday in July, beginning at 9:30 a.m. in the Olin Room. No need to read books for these sessions. On Sunday, July 19th, we are so happy to welcome Jen out, the youth choir affiliated with the Gay Men's Chorus of Washington, D.C. They will present a 45-minute program beginning at 7:15 in our sanctuary. This is a free event, and your donations are welcome. We all had such a wonderful experience when the Gay Men's Chorus joined us in March that they thought of us right away when looking for places for their youth choir to perform. This will be a special evening, as was the Gay Men's Chorus. It was amazing. We'll have one last announcement from Rev. Jen.
Well, I hinted at something by mentioning the Personnel Committee. So I am extremely pleased to let you all know that we have given an offer which has been accepted to a new Director of Religious Education. I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of details right now. She will begin at the start of August. So she'll start and I'll come back to the office and it's going to be a whole big pile of learning and new things and it's going to be exciting and awesome. And to that end, I should have also put Claire on our lighting candles for volunteers. Claire Lambert, newly the mother of a toddler, has graciously volunteered to do some prep work to get ready to welcome our new DRE and the reinvigoration of our children and family and youth programming, right? We need people to help make this happen. Now our new person hasn't started yet. We're going to get a lot more information about that in time to come. But if you have ever thought, I wouldn't mind doing something with religious education, and there are a lot of things, like I said, we don't know, this isn't, oh, I'm signing up to have to be in a classroom every Sunday. Nope, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with this list of names, but we so badly need your name. If you are even just curious about what volunteering for RE might look like in the next year and beyond, but let's concentrate on year one right now, okay? Claire has volunteered every Sunday in July. She's going to be back in the fellowship hall with a sign-up list. We're going to get you signed up. We're going to get you more information as we can get it. We may be working on it, being able to start doing some background checks. Know that if you are going to be working with children, you do need to pass a fairly simple background check for the safety of all of us, especially our most vulnerable. So please, 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 if you have any curiosity, even just about being in the loop for when we start looking at what kind of volunteering we're going to need to do for religious education this fall, go give your name to Claire. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So at this time, I will invite Kay to extinguish our chalice as we, once again, join with Unitarian Universalist churches, congregations, and communities around the nation and the world, knowing the flame of our faith no longer burns within the sanctuary, but remains a light in our hearts. I still haven't quite gotten this transition from doing that gracefully into the benediction. I'm going to come down here. But then there's the singing. I think that we should go out on the singing because I think it's important that we go out on the singing, especially today. So May we see, know, and love one another as imperfectly and wholly as we can going into the week ahead. So may it be.
Right, let's sing with fervor.
Stand up.
God bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet